Hey guys, welcome to Plan the Day on Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman. I'm the CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors and your host for Plan the Day on Tomorrow. And as usual, not all the time, but I'm joined by my good friends Tim McDermott and Bobby Futch this morning. And we're going to have a lot of fun talking about some facts and myths when it comes to retirement planning. But I always like to start with asking the guys how your week's going. Bobby, what's going on, man?
Good. We're getting ready for the holidays. I got a family.
Oh my gosh, did you just say holidays?
Oh, yeah, it's
I'm
here
not
already,
ready.
huh?
I'm not ready.
I got a family wedding this weekend down
Nice.
in Georgia, so we got some exciting things planned.
That's
Looking forward
cool.
to it.
That's cool. Tell me about you, Bob.
Just got back from a trip out west, and it was absolutely stunning being up there near the Grand Tetons. Beautiful, beautiful, very cold, but
Yeah.
beautiful area.
Yeah, I saw your pictures. I was like, whew, that looks a little chilly for Gary.
There's a reason they call it God's country out there. It is stunningly gorgeous.
It's beautiful, right? Beautiful. I love that you got to go do that and get away. And Bobby, it sounds like you guys are going to have fun. And where's your wedding at again?
Americus, Georgia.
Where's that?
Southwest Georgia.
Okay.
Not a lot of people know. Just north of Albany, Georgia. If
They
you're
Okay,
call
I
this
know where
like
Albany's at.
the Little Grand Canyon. Is that what they call it?
Yeah, so we're going to go plan on seeing that. It's called Providence Canyon. It's
Yeah.
a Georgia State Park.
Oh, really?
We went once as a family. I lived in Macon for a long
Yeah.
time, so it wasn't that far from there. We went once when June was just a wee baby. That's that picture of her I got in my office.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Yeah.
now that she's older, we're going to go back and check it out. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's awesome. Gary's got a plan. Trip,
Man,
maybe?
yeah, we are. And you know, this is one of those trips. It's coming at a kind of a crazy time. You know, we've had so much going on, but yeah, we're taking off, head out west for a little while and hang out with our good friend Kyle and Joe, and then we're headed over to the islands,
Awesome.
and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
I think it's kind of neat. We have to take a boat to the resort. So yeah, so you have to land, and then they put you on a boat. Then they take you over to the resort. So you only can get there by boat.
Wow.
So that's going to be kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of neat. And
You don't get
actually,
seasick, do you?
geographically, I was like, where's this place at? It's almost in Australia.
Wow.
It is that far down. I'm like, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm excited
That's
about
awesome.
it. I think it'd be good for me and Rhonda. We need to take some deep breaths. So we've had so much going on. But guys, what about all these events we've been doing? I mean, we've been doing events in Maryville, Tennessee, in Dalton, Georgia. Got some coming up here in Chattanooga at the Walden Club and Ruth's Chris. We just did one last night at this little place called the Lazy Beagle up in Sweetwater, Tennessee.
They're fun.
Is it fun?
Yeah, and we've tried something new, a little new this year, in that we have events just focused on one topic.
Right,
And
yeah.
So we're talking about annuities one night. Dalton, we talked about estate planning.
The long-term care events have went
long-term
great.
care. It's really cool to be able to just dive into one topic because financial planning is so broad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
really hard to get all the information in on financial planning. So
you can't do
we've
it.
decided to kind of
I
focus
think
these.
it's went well, and I think that people actually enjoy it. We've had some people give us feedback about, hey, thank you for sticking to one thing. We knew exactly what you guys were going to be talking about tonight.
Yep.
And I think people enjoy that.
Yeah.
They really do. And you guys had a great success at your estate planning dinner in Dalton.
Yeah, and we're doing more and more of them. So, if you're interested in that, we list them all on our website.
We sure do.
GIAplantheday.com. Go figure out which one's most interesting to you.
Yeah, or do
most of
a
interest.
few of them.
And come learn. We like to teach people.
Yeah, I know you guys got some great presentation coming up here in a few weeks, and you're really going to be focused on the big, beautiful bill and some income planning around that, correct? Is that what the
It's
event's going to be?
How to take advantage of the big beautiful bill and what's new in our tax law that allows us to take advantage of some tax savings, I guess, along the way.
Right.
And how to plan for it, really.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. So again, Bobby said it, GIAplantoday.com, GIAplantoday.com. Go in there. You can see events coming up, and we'll have them listed for you, and you guys can give us a call, sign up. We'd love to have you at one of our events. Guys, I want to jump into some fun stuff today, and let's just make the show fun because I've been doing this 29 years now. Actually, November 15th will be 29 years since I started back selling auto, home insurance, and long-term care insurance 29 years ago. And I know you guys have both been in the business for a long time, and we hear all kinds of different things from people. different fears, different worries. I mean, Bobby, what are some of the things that you hear most commonly?
I think one of the first ones I see is, young people not wanting to save. And that can be for a number of different reasons. One, you just don't think you're making enough money, which isn't the case. It can be, I've got student loan debt. I'm saving to get a first. That's all great. You want to take care of that stuff.
Yep.
But you need to start saving, as soon as you can. Because even if it's $50 a month in your 20s, that $50 is going to turn into a lot of money 40 years down the road when you need it. So
Yeah, so the myth out there, I guess, that you're kind of talking about right now is you don't need to start saving until you're in your 40s.
yeah, we hear that a lot, and it's just not true. If you haven't started saving in your 40s,
Right.
you absolutely need to start immediately.
100%.
But the earlier you can start, the better. And we always tell young people when we get to talk to them is that, put a spending plan together. You should have a spending plan. And part of your spending plan should be that retirement savings, right? It's not good enough to say, well, whatever's left, I'll stick into an IRA or a savings
Right.
account. Because there's not often times that there's something left, especially if you're kind of passively saving for
Yeah,
retirement
yeah.
like that.
So
So make
it's-
it a line item in your budget.
Funny, this is our number one, myth right out of the gate. Don't start saving to your 40s, because we were just doing some math yesterday with our good friend Tristan over here behind the camera, and Tristan was asking, how much should I be putting away each month? And I said, well, it's important for people to know what $100 is actually worth to you right now, right? And so we did the math and said compounded interest. If you invest that $100 versus spend that $100, well, Tristan's young. You have to get young guys to run tech stuff.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So Tristan's got 40 years to
Yeah.
save before he retires. Well, $100 right now, if he puts $100 in his account and averages a 7.2% rate of return, that $100 is worth $1,613 in 40 years to him. So next time you're at the shoe rack looking at a new pair of Nikes that are $100, are
Yeah.
they worth $100
Yeah.
or are they worth $1,600 to you?
It's funny. Me and Rhonda were talking this morning, and she's going to try to find me this video she saw on Instagram, and it was someone our age in their 50s, and that their young children talking about, well, we can't buy a house, or we can't do this, or we can't do that, and she said the whole video, the concept was, you know why? Because me and your mom didn't go buy a $10 latte every morning. Me and your mom didn't DoorDash every night. We actually ate at home. I mean, I think making some sacrifices as a young person is huge. But now I'm going to say this, young people, if you're listening, you got to set up that emergency account first, Bobby.
Yeah, I
Agreed.
agree.
You got to have that.
Much agreed.
You got to have that. So, Tim, here's one. This is a fun one for me, and I know that we talked about it on the Wealth Council and everything else. Social Security will be gone by the time I retire.
I believe that's true for Tristan.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tristan. Start saving more.
Yeah. And we literally talked about this yesterday,
That's
too.
right. That's right. And it's possible that there's going to be some adjustments made on Social Security down the road. What I'm telling for folks that are 5 or 10 or more years out from retirement is let's plan like it's not going to be there.
Right.
And then for a couple reasons. A, you don't want to plan for it to be there, and then all of a sudden it's not. That puts you in a pretty tight spot. But secondly, likely it will probably be there in some form or fashion in 10 years from now. I don't think it's going away in 10 years.
I'm more optimistic about the future of Social Security than you are.
But at the same time, I think there does have to be some adjustment made. The math just isn't mathing, right? And so how do we plan for it? And then if there's some there for you, let it be gravy on top.
I like that idea. I'll be honest with you, boys. I want mine.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been self-employed for 29 years. My wife has been self-employed for over 30 years. We pay double Social Security because we're self-employed. I want it.
Yeah, and that's part of why
I'm
I'm more.
52, so I'm at that 10-year mark, Tim, where I can take it at 62.
And I would tell you to plan like it's not going to be there.
And I
right?
always have. But it's still, I mean, I just don't, Bobby, I don't think it's going to go away. I think
agree
there will
with
be
that.
adjustments.
And really, it may be that there are some adjustments made that can shore up the Social Security fund. I don't think the cow's too far out of the barn on that personally. But there may also be some, bigger changes, like maybe it's means tested, right? So if you've done a good job saving for yourself in retirement, great job, Gary.
Yeah.
You don't get Social Security. It's for the people that may only have Social Security to lean on.
Or maybe
Yeah.
you get a discounted version of your
Right.
Social Security.
We don't know what that's
right?
gonna look
We don't know. I mean, they're saying it could be 85%. I mean, their numbers are all over
But here's
the
the
place,
thing
right?
I know. Do you want to be the politician in office when
That
Social
takes it
Security
away?
goes away?
Heck no.
Right? So I think there's some political incentive
I do too.
to try to save it. And eventually when they get tired of kicking the can down the road,
There
they'll
is a
make some
big
changes.
move for the means testing side of things, though.
Correct.
You know, don't let the rich have it, let the poor have it. That I could very much see happen.
Yeah, I can see that happening too. So this probably be the last one, and we may have to continue this in the next segment because we're talking about Social Security running out. Well, one thing we can do is raise taxes to get more money into our system. But one of the myths out there is I'll pay fewer taxes in retirement, Bobby, than Tim.
I met a lady just last evening that came in, and for various reasons, she is paying less than 5% effective income tax rates
Woo,
right now.
wow.
Awesome.
But she has been an incredible saver, right? She got $1 million in her 401k. So at age 75, you know, if we run that out, she could have a $2 million 401k, and RMDs at that point, just the RMDs will be twice the current income she has.
Wow.
Right. So not only does she going to have a much higher income in retirement, paying more taxes. I think tax rates have to go up because, again, 4.5% is really low. Social Security's running out of money. We're running a $2 trillion a year deficit. So not only will she making more money, she'll be paying a higher income tax rate in retirement.
Yep.
I can almost guarantee that for her.
Yeah, I'd like to continue this because, Tim, I would like to jump back in because we were talking about the event you guys are about to be doing and how the big, beautiful bill, some people can take advantage of some of the things going on right now on this tax situation.
Sure.
So when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about the taxes if you guys are okay with that.
Perfect.
The bottom line is, folks, are you ready to retire? Do you know if you're ready to retire? One of the things that we have created for you is GIAquiz.com. GIAquiz.com. It's 35 questions. Do it from the comfort of your home. I would encourage you to go take that quiz, get some feedback from that quiz, and then give us a call. Come in and see Tim and Bobby. If you're up in the Knoxville area, go see Brogan at our Knoxville office. Come in and let's just start putting a plan together. You can tell Tim and Bobby are passionate about what they do. They want to help you in any way they can with Social Security, with taxes, with Medicare, with all these things that we're talking about today. But all you need to do is go to GIAquiz.com, then come in and see us. When we come back, we're going to finish that conversation about taxes. We're going to jump into some market talk, and we're going to continue with facts and myths. We'll be right back. Are you ready to retire? I don't know is not an acceptable answer because if you're not ready to retire with enough money to last until your last breath, when would you like to know? We created a quiz to give you a clear idea of retirement readiness, income, Social Security, tax debt, health care. Get a clear picture of how ready you are and where you need help. Get a second opinion. It's free. Go to GIAquiz.com for your retirement readiness score. Tennessee Valley, welcome back to Plan the Day on Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman. I'm your host. I'm in here with Tim McDermott, Bobby Futch. Just to let you know, we are in the Chattanooga, Tennessee area and in Knoxville, Tennessee. So if you hear us and you want to come see us, we'd love to have a conversation with you. We only charge $10,000 an hour. That's, whoa, wow, no, we do not charge $10,000 an hour. It's absolutely complimentary to come in and have a conversation with us and our team here to get you on the right path to planning. So we're talking about facts and myths today, and we ended with I'm going to pay fewer taxes in retirement. It's funny to me, Tim, because I think you and I did a TV show not long ago, and there was a study, it might have been Fidelity. I can't remember. It says you actually might pay more taxes in retirement than you did while you were working. That is just hard to believe. How can people fix that?
Yeah. So let's take a step back to the 70s, 80s, even 90s. The tax rates back then were fairly high, at least higher than they are right now. And so the idea was when 401ks first came out in the early 80s was pay your taxes later.
Yeah.
When you're retired.
Yeah.
Maybe your income's a little less, your taxes are a little bit less. And that's probably true back then, right? Because we're at the third lowest tax bracket we've ever been in. And so, it's probably true that if you started working back then you're probably paying less taxes right now. However, a lot of things have shifted economically and legislatively over the last 40 years to say that's probably not true anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's not just that, somebody lied to you back then because they probably didn't or they didn't know, but it's that things have changed in today's environment, right? So how are we taking advantage of that? We're looking for ways to actually pay some of those taxes now. I know that's a hard conversation to have. I have it all the time. But if we can talk about how do we get some of those taxable accounts into tax-free accounts, then it can really benefit you in the long run right now.
Yeah, a great way to do that is Roth conversions.
Agreed.
Right? And we talk all the time about Roth conversions, taking some of that pre-tax IRA money, going ahead and paying the income taxes now to make sure that whatever the tax rates are in the future, you've got that tax-free income in retirement. And the One Big Beautiful Bill Act extended this window, at least to the end of 2028.
Yeah.
Right. So we know now that we're going to continue to be in the third lowest income tax bracket we've been in. But after 2028, we don't know what's going to happen.
Don't know. We don't know.
So we've got this window here that we're trying to be really aggressive with our clients with Roth conversions.
And
to take
just look at
advantage
the lady you just said you talked to, where her 401k or RMDs are going to be double her income.
Yep.
I mean, that's a tax problem.
That's right.
That's
And
a lot of
That
taxes.
doesn't take into account Social Security that she's going to have.
That's right.
It doesn't take into account her pension because she's also going to have a pension, which is awesome.
Good for
You don't
her.
See a lot. So you can almost guarantee that her income is going to be twice what it is now, and she'd pay twice as much in taxes roughly if tax rates did not change.
Right. That's crazy.
She's 60 years old. She's got 15 years before RMD start.
Right.
I guarantee you tax rates are going to be
Yeah,
different.
I do too. One of the things we did is created another calculator for this situation. You can go in and put your numbers in and stack them up against what you think future tax numbers might be. It's plantodaytaxbill.com. Plantodaytaxbill.com. Go take it, guys. It's free. It takes about 15 minutes. Plantodaytaxbill.com. Then again, come in and have a conversation with Tim and Bobby. Let's talk about some tax planning, not filing your taxes. Let's talk about tax planning for you guys going down the road. Tim, I like this one, and we've heard this. We always hear this. The market always comes back, so I can just ride it out.
Yeah. That's kind of true.
Yeah, it is kind of true. Yeah.
It's the danger of that becomes when you start withdrawing money from that account. And there's something called a sequence of returns. Simply put, there's a major difference in the first year retiring being a good year versus a recessionary year, and it can change the entire outcome of how your retirement actually looks. Right?
If you plan on funding your retirement with the old 4% rule, one, I'd argue it's not the 4% rule anymore. But if that's the way you plan on funding your retirement, you can't ride out market returns.
That's right.
Because if you have a big correction in the first year, all of a sudden your 4% is much less than you'd planned on.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's probably not going to recover because you're withdrawing a declining asset.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an antiquated way of doing it.
Yeah.
Now, the
Income
market
planning.
has always come back.
It does.
It's not guaranteed
But-
to come back, but it always has. The the planning piece that needs to be put into place here is you need to have a place to withdraw funds from to fund your retirement while that market recovers.
That's right.
Not that depleting account. 'Cause
Right.
You don't want to take a double hit on it, right?
Correct.
This is where we use our green bucket, our fixed income annuities. They're guaranteed. I promise you, you'll never run out of money
Never.
inside of one of these. And so it's a great way to set up an income plan to
Right.
where recessionary years hit, we
You're
don't
not
have
stressed.
to pull from
You're not
that bucket.
stressed.
Things are taken care of.
It's so funny, guys. I got to tell you this. So, and Tristan, remember that I took a dollar bill last night. Took a dollar bill, but I said it was $1 million. And a guy came in with a 401k, and he said, "I got $1 million. I don't need your help." Well, actually, you don't. So I ripped about 25% of the dollar bill. And the guy sitting in front of me went, I went, "It's just a dollar." Calm down. But then I said, "What if you're doing the 4% rule? So now you got to pay your taxes, and now the market just dropped 20 points, and you're pulling out $40,000." So I ripped some more off, and everybody was like, "Oh." It kind of opened their eyes a little bit to like, that makes a lot of sense to me.
You know,
So
if we remember back to 2008, right, that was a huge, huge crash, obviously. It took the market 5 years to come back to even. That's if you weren't pulling money out. So if you were pulling money out for 5 years, I don't know what the math is, 7, 8 years, and that's like your go-go years in retirement. So if
Yeah.
you retired at 65 in 2008, your income plan is completely botched
Wow.
until
Big
you're
time.
70 years old.
Yeah.
or more. So the market will come back. Tim's right; it always has. But how's that going to affect you in the meantime? It's a huge, huge thing that people often overlook.
I totally agree. Bobby, what about this one? I love this. I am diversified because I have 5 mutual funds.
Maybe. So the thing about mutual funds is, one, mutual funds are kind of expensive. Don't buy mutual funds. But if
Was
we're
that a
gonna-
disclaimer?
What did you just say?
Really quick, because
Yeah.
one of the underlying undertones.
The thing about mutual funds is, you can have 100, 200 different positions in some of these things. And if you have a handful of mutual funds that have, the same, goal or kind of the same space that they operate
Yeah.
in, there's bound to be some overlap there that unless you look through the prospectus, you're not going to find.
That's one
right?
of the things we look at.
I love it.
We run a correlation test, and it just says how many of these holdings are the same or very similar to the holdings in this mutual fund. And you'd be surprised at how much correlation overlaps. I mean, you're talking, it's very common for us to see 90, 95% correlation in a lot of these.
Well, if
different
you think
crazy.
about these mutual funds, they're supposed to be safer. They're supposed to be more diversified. And so these fund managers really don't want to step out on a limb there and say, I'm going to make mine a little different, right?
Yeah.
You know, because if they underperform their peers,
Mhm.
they're going to lose investors. They're going to, it's
Yep.
a bad look for them. So I won't say they all get together in a back room and say, let's all buy the same stuff. But that's how it ends up most of the time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, guys. Mutual funds are more expensive than just having straight stocks. Am I correct?
Oh, without a doubt. So, you know, there's no management fee if you own common shares of just stock.
That's right.
You just own them. When you have a mutual fund, there's a whole team behind that mutual fund running it. They don't do it for free.
No, you got to
Right?
pay
So
somebody.
they have to get paid. And we're big fans of ETFs,
Yeah.
exchange traded funds, as an alternative to mutual funds.
Now, you're probably forced into mutual funds if you're in a 401k or employer-sponsored
Correct.
plan because of ERISA rules, right?
Yeah, right.
And so you just have to pick, you know, the least evil inside of there and let it go. You're still getting some good benefits out of that 401k. Don't stop contributing to it. But, you know, once you can get out of that 401k, it's a good time to diversify,
Yeah.
set up other investments,
Right.
safer investments sometimes.
And that's where that bucket strategy that we use really comes into play.
Yep.
It just makes a lot of sense for people. Tim, let's finish on this one. My buddy, he's day trading crypto and he's killing it, man.
Yeah, good for him. I'm glad. We talked about this just the other day with somebody, and crypto has a couple of interesting aspects to it. It's not nearly as regulated as everything else
Right.
is in this industry right now. It's not really. It's supposed to be a untraceable asset, right? Which means that if somebody does steal it from you, you're out of luck. There's really no way to track it down and go get it back. That's one of the big risks that
Yeah,
you take on
that's
when
big.
you're trading crypto. And I think crypto got a big name because of Bitcoin when it popped. You know, people were in Bitcoin at like $2 a share.
Made
and
a
it went
ton
to
of money.
100,000. It's the idea of get rich quick sounds awesome, but you think about it, cryptos or Bitcoin's right around. I think it's around $100,000 a coin right now. If it went to $200,000 a coin and you bought in today, that's 100% gain. That's great,
That's great.
but it's not a get rich quick scheme anymore,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so people are looking for these tinier coins. You know, and it's not a good thing to base the mass of your retirement on.
I
If
totally
you want to
agree.
go throw money into it, my comment
Go
and my
have some fun.
recommendation to you is put money in there that you're willing to lose and nothing else.
That's
right?
it. That's
They
it.
have Bitcoin ETFs now.
They do.
So if you
Sure
want
do.
some exposure to that, that's a good way to do it.
Bobby, let's go 40 seconds here.
Okay.
Bonds are always safe.
Yeah, bonds are an interesting space now, and we hold very few bonds in client accounts because, again, if we go back to the 80s, when interest rates are really high, you buy a bond and you got a good coupon, what they pay you, right? And so you could go back in the 80s, have $1 million portfolio, go buy bonds, and you get $40,000 a year.
Yeah.
Right, great, you can live on that. Well, as interest rates have come down since then, that means that not only are you struggling to find a bond now that pays any good money, but as interest rates are close to zero now, effectively a few years ago they were zero, as interest rates rise, your bonds lose money. Where are interest rates going to go from here
Yeah.
in the intermediate and long
Yeah.
term? They've got to go up, so you're getting paid poorly on them, and you do have a real risk now of losing value in those.
There's a ticker called AGG. It's an aggregate bond index for the United States. Right now, if you look at the 5-year average return of bonds, it is negative 13.64%. You can't call that safe.
No.
Safe money doesn't lose money.
Safe money doesn't lose money. I like that, Tim. Do you want to know more about your retirement plan? GIAquiz.com. GIAquiz.com. Go take the test. Come in to see Tim and Bobby. Let's have a conversation about your retirement plan. Show you how our bucket system works, and we can get you set up where every day can be a Saturday in retirement. Again, GIAquiz.com. We'll be right back with more facts and myths.
Do you want to leave memories or a mess?
So many families are left with confusion, taxes, and even court battles because there was no estate plan.
And it's not just for the wealthy. Estate planning is for everyone.
It protects your family, passes on your values, and ensures your wishes are carried out.
That's a real legacy, more than just money.
It's peace of mind for the people you love.
To get your estate planning guide, text the words Estate Planning Guide to 877-706-7526.
Hey guys, we'll get back to Plan the Day on tomorrow. My name's Gary Thurman, your host, and I'm the CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. We're having some fun today on the radio and out here on YouTube, talking about some facts and myths when it comes to retirement planning. Just want to remind you of 2 quizzes that we've offered you guys to do from your comfort of your home today. GIAquiz.com. GIAquiz.com. Go see if you're actually ready to retire. It's 35 questions. It's easy to fill out. Another big thing we're talking about right now are Roth conversions. So we created PlanTodayTaxBill.com. PlanTodayTaxBill.com. Go check that out. Put your current numbers in on what you think the future taxes may be. Might open your eyes up a little bit to say, hey, maybe I need to come in and see Tim and Bobby and talk about some Roth conversions, because that's what it's all about. Guys, let's just keep going down the list here, because I think we're having a good time. Tim, if I'm not in the market, I'm safe.
People did that in 2008. 2008 had a major crash, and folks decided they couldn't handle that type of loss, and so they just bailed out of the market. They never went back in. The issue with that being inflation over the long term, inflation can be a silent killer at the end of the day. The average inflation from 1960 to 2024 is actually 3.8%. The Fed's target about a 2% inflation rate, but that's almost double what their target rate has been over the last, 60-some years, 64 years.
Yeah.
And so 3.8% doesn't sound like a ton, but if you look at it in the form of 30 to 40 years, that means your money's worth less than half of what it originally was, right? And so you have to have some return in there. I'm not telling you have to be in the market, but it is the best way to keep up with inflation.
Yeah, I think it's good to have some skin in the game. You know, you don't have to put all your money in the market, but I think it's good to have some skin in the game, Bobby. I mean, because that's really the only way you're going to keep up with inflation.
And our bucket strategy has its own bucket just for market risk.
Yeah.
And as long as you are taking the appropriate amount of risk, both in what you're invested in and how much you have in that bucket, it can be a really powerful tool.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
retirement.
Yeah.
Because things aren't getting cheaper, and then, if taxes go up, the best way to keep up with taxes and inflation in retirement is in the market.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But that
Bobby, what
doesn't mean
about
Bitcoin
go
all the
ahead.
time.
Sorry, yeah.
Sorry, that doesn't mean Bitcoin. You got to make sure you're taking the appropriate amount of risk.
What about I can time the market?
Call us. We're going to hire you. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you can consistently time the market, no one can, right? One of the greatest investors of all time, Warren Buffett, warns against trying to time the market.
Oh yeah.
And we see it all the time. When people want to sell out in a dip. Okay, right? If you called the bottom, great, but then you've also got to call the top or call when it's coming back up, right, and get in efficiently. No one's proven to be able to do that. So what beats timing the market is time in the market. And so if you want to try to time the market, I'd suggest you take a second look at that, because it never works.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I like this one, Tim. All advisors do the same thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not true.
No.
Or maybe that's fortunate.
I
I'm
think
not
it's
sure
fortunate,
which one. There are multiple ways that advisors can work in our space. And one of the biggest things I would urge you to look at is ask your advisor, is he a fiduciary, and how does he get compensated for the work that he does? You want to make sure that advisor is a fee-based advisor. Commission-based advisor, it doesn't necessarily mean they're out to do the bad things, but they're kind of motivated in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Bobby always says, if February 1 rolls around and you want to make your car note as the advisor, maybe you go out and make some trades in your clients' accounts and take that commission, right? Not really the best incentive just to get paid
Right.
to trade. We get paid by a percentage of the asset value that we manage. The nice thing there is that as that account value grows, our paycheck grows. If that account value gets cut in half, our paycheck gets cut in half at the same time. So we're very well incentivized to help you grow your account, if at all possible.
Go ahead, Bobby.
It's really interesting in the space, right? If you go talk to a CPA,
Mm-hmm.
you know exactly what they do. You know exactly what schooling they've had. That credential CPA means something. Same with attorneys. There's no standardization in our industry,
Right.
right? You could be a financial advisor and be just an insurance salesman or just someone that works in the market.
Right.
So you really need to dig down and ask these questions of your financial advisor, because there's no standard for that title.
And I think a lot of times, guys, let's talk about annuities for a minute. I think they're just missold. A guy brought in his statement last night at our dinner. We did an annuity-only workshop, so that's what I'm referring to. He brought in his statement, and another advisor had sold him an income-driven fixed index annuity. He goes, Gary, I don't need income. I've got a great pension. I got a great Social Security. He sold his business for millions. The guy didn't need an income rider, and he goes, so I'm paying the income rider, and how am I going to get this money? I said, you got to turn on the income. So you can do it. He goes, I don't want to turn on the income. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I just think working with a fiduciary advisor, Tim, like you said, I think it's just vital.
I would urge you, if you're out there, to work with someone that is, if you're going to use an annuity as part of your plan, use them for the managed assets at the
Absolutely.
same time, because then they're
Yes.
incentivized to continue to help you service those accounts in the same manner.
Yeah, I agree. Bobby, I'm going to come to you. Tim brought this up earlier, but I'll withdraw 4% a year, and I will be fine.
Yeah, I think the 4% rule that we've been using in financial planning for decades is kind of broken now. We talked about it earlier about how bonds just aren't performing like they have been for decades.
Yeah.
And part of that 4% rule was the yield and the safety of bonds to provide kind of a buoy during market conditions if they should be negative, and provide an income that you can kind of track and calculate.
Yep.
Well, that tool just doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Right. There's a lot more volatility in the market now for a bunch of different reasons. And so the 4% rule, I think, is broken.
Yeah, Wall Street Journal came out with an article earlier this year, and it said the 4% rule is now a 2.1% rule.
Right.
So you got $1 million, and you're going to live on 21 grand?
Yeah, that's just,
Come on.
Now-
it's silly.
Now, that percentage is based on the value of that account in that year. So let's say you
right.
retire with $1 million, and then the next year is a recessionary period. You take a 40, 50% hit. That $21,000 income's now what, 10?
10, 11, 12 grand. Yeah.
Not a way to live retirement.
It's not. And what's amazing to me, guys, because we still have people come at us about the 4% rule, where we can use our green bucket money and get them 7% guaranteed.
That's right.
So it's just crazy to me to think about that. And speaking of giving 7% guaranteed, Tim, annuities are bad, brother. Annuities are so bad. They're so bad.
Never thought I'd hear Gary say that. Annuities can be bad if they're not right for you, right? And this is where I think back to Gary's point, they get missold a lot. You sit down with someone, and I'll guarantee you that annuity that you looked at last night, I don't know what it was, but I almost guarantee you had a roll-up on it.
It did.
And those roll-ups work in the sense that, hey, your income value, which is more or less a phantom account, grows at a certain percentage guaranteed. So then all that client hears, because it wasn't made clear to them, is, I get a guaranteed 6, 7, 8% a year, and they don't really tell them how it works. Right?
Yeah.
If you don't need income, don't buy an income annuity. And it's not his fault, right? He just doesn't know. He's trusting the advisor to help walk him through it.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody like that gentleman would have been better, in my opinion, to put some money in the green bucket, but just do a growth annuity. Keep the money safe, and then pull out 10% when you need to.
That's right.
That's what would have been better. Bobby, I really like this one. I'll retire when I feel ready. So now we're talking about emotions.
This is a deep question. Gary, you and I did a show a couple weeks ago, basically just on this one.
We did. It was fun, too.
And then there's really two parts to being ready. Being ready financially, right? That's not a guessing game. You can sit down with us and figure out whether or not you're ready financially to retire. Don't guess at that, because that's what we do every day is let you know whether or not you can retire.
It's just a math problem, a complicated math problem, but a math problem.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
With the lifestyle you want. Now, I don't know if you feel ready emotionally to retire. There's a lot there that goes on. You give up your work community, which is important for a lot of people. They like to go out and have purpose in their life. That's something we help talk through.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's harder to plan. So you're never going to be ready if you don't sit down and plan at least the financial piece, because then the other piece, you can have a better gauge on.
Sure.
Yeah, I tell that story all the time about the guy who walked in and slid his 401k statement across the table, said, why do I need you? I've got $1 million in my 401k. Well, actually, you don't. He needed a plan.
That's right.
Right? I mean, so many people go into retirement thinking, well, I've got a 401k, I'm good. That's not an income plan. You got to have an income plan, but there's more to it than that. And Tim, we already talked about this a little bit, but let's just finish this segment up.
Sure.
My taxes will drop in retirement. I just don't see that happening. I do think taxes will. We're going to debt $54,000 a second, $3.4 million a minute. How can taxes go down any further than they're at right now?
I mean, tax system is an odd system, right? Because there's a lot of levers to be pulled. Is it possible that income taxes go down? Yeah, I think it's possible,
Yep.
but probably not likely. The government really only has one source of income, and it's taxes. Now, that taxes isn't always income taxes. It could be corporate taxes. It could be in the form of tariffs. It could be in a lot of different forms. But
Right.
I think taxes over the long term have to go up in some form or fashion, and a lot of that is going to be tied to income taxes from individuals, I think.
And how many young people are we seeing right now? You know, now there's a article in the Wall Street Journal on October 20th, and it says we need to be pushing employees to buy annuities inside their 401k plan. I should have brought that in here with me. Why are they telling people to buy annuities inside their 401k plan, Bobby?
Because it's guaranteed, right? And you can have it's a much more defined planning tool than just sitting in the market, and so you can have these guaranteed roll-ups for
Yeah.
retirement. And if it's a great thing to have in a 401k because that's what you're going to use for income
Yeah.
mostly anyway.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you start with some guarantees earlier so they can roll up for you in retirement?
And then tell them real quick, we got a lot of young people coming in. They don't realize there's a Roth option inside their 401k, and they need to be all over that.
Yeah, if you're under the age of 30, no questions asked, go put your money in the Roth as much as possible. Remember this, that match beats Roth, beats traditional. Get your match first, then add
That's right.
to Roth, and then if anything's left, you can go traditional.
All these questions, all these things we're talking about, these guys will sit down with you one-on-one and have a conversation with you. And that's all it is. It's simple. It's just a conversation. There's no money. It's just a conversation to see if we can help you, because that's what we're here to do. I want to invite you again to go to GIAquiz.com, GIAquiz.com. Go take those 35-question tests. Come in and see the guys, and let's have a conversation about taxes, Social Security planning, all these things that we're talking about today. When we come back, we're going to finish up with I'll get around to it later, which could catch you off guard a little bit. We'll be right back, guys.
The scariest 4 words in retirement: out of money forever.
That's the number one fear we hear, running out of money before running out of life. You've worked decades to build savings, but without a plan, that nest egg could dry up faster than you think.
And let's be honest, the market alone won't guarantee your income.
Exactly. That's why we create income streams that last as long as you do. It's about turning savings into a paycheck for life.
To get your income planning guide, text the word income to 877-706-7526.
Welcome back to Plan Today on Tomorrow. And I'm giggling a little bit because me and Bobby are talking about skunks. I mean, you never know what happens between sets here on the radio show. So
What's the cartoon with the skunk?
That's exactly what we're
Pepe
talking
Le Pew.
about. That's exactly what we're
So,
talking
okay,
about.
let's just tell everybody my idea. My idea is for Bobby to be in one of those, what do you call the little hats that the guys in Paris
little
wear?
beret.
The
Oh,
little
yeah,
French
yeah.
hats
The berets.
with a scarf and his big beard.
Yeah.
And talk like Pepe Le Pew
Yeah,
and say, stay away from sticky investments. Right?
Yeah.
I like it.
The whole set of ideas we came
Oh,
up with. So
see?
you may see that soon.
You never know what you're going to see on social media when it comes to this group right here, guys, because we just like to have fun. We just like to have fun. All right, guys, this is a big myth. I'll get around to it later. I think this is a great way to finish the show today. Tim, I'll start with you. I'll save more when I make more.
Yeah, that's a very slippery slope to get caught into. As folks make more, they typically end up spending more at the end of the day. If you're not saving now, you won't save later.
Right.
It's a disciplinary fact, not a money problem at the end of the day. That's true about 98% of the time, if you will.
Yeah, we call it
and so-
lifestyle creep.
And lifestyle creep will creep your retirement out.
There's a name for it in financial planning. It happens so often.
That's right. Yep. And so I would urge you that if you can save anything right now, do something. I don't care if it's $10 a month. Put something aside now. And as that money raises, you should save more.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't start now, you won't start then.
I always encourage people to buy The Latte Factor. You know, it's a book by David Bach. You can download it or just go buy the book itself. But they call it The Latte Factor. It's really a story about a young lady in New York who went to get lattes every day, and the owner of the coffee shop teaches her how to not have the expensive latte and how to invest the rest of that money and start getting ready for retirement. So it's a fascinating book, The Latte Factor by David Bach. I like this one, Bobby, because we have heard this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too late for me.
Yeah.
It's just too late.
It's never too late. You want to start planning for retirement and doing financial planning as early as you can. But again, it's never too late. You know, if you're still alive, there are things you can do in financial planning to get yourself in a better situation. And so if you're worried about that, you know, I invite you to go on our website, give us a call today. Because again, yesterday was the best day to start. Today's the second best day.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere, right?
It's never too late.
Unfortunately, we see this a lot. And this isn't just because somebody was lazy or didn't want to do things. Life happens.
Mhm.
You get divorced and you have to start over, or kids need help and you end up draining your 401k to do it or whatever the case may be, then it feels like a struggle to get started again. Do something again. If it's just $10 a month, start doing something. Don't think it's too late. There's a way to come back from it.
Do you guys think that, a lot of people get caught up in the keeping up with the Joneses? My buddy just bought a boat, I'm buying a boat. My buddy just bought a motorcycle, I'm buying a motorcycle. But you see that, maybe we don't see it as often as we used to, but it's still
I think you see
my
it
age group.
more,
Yeah,
just
my
in a
age group.
different sense,
Guys,
right?
listen, I've got friends right now that have not started retirement planning. They have not. Because what? They can't stop spending money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and guess what? It's your life.
Yep.
I'm not going to force you, but Bobby, if you're my age, 52 years old, I've got a good 15 more years I could work and save and plan, right?
That you can do a lot in 15 years. Especially if you have a dedicated savings plan, saving is part of your spending plan. I think that's vital when you put your spending plan together. Have a line item for retirement savings. Right?
Yeah.
Make that something you have to do first against being an afterthought.
Yeah.
I think that's a dangerous thing to do. And so if you have a healthy line item for savings in your spending plan, maybe there's room for a motorcycle. Maybe there's room for a boat. Right.
But put
Do
a plan
live.
around it. Put a plan
But
around
make sure
it.
you have a plan.
I
Right?
think there's a keeping up with the Joneses looks different today than it used to. It used to be that you watched your neighbor come home with a new car. Now it's social media, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all your friends, all they post is the good stuff. No one wants to post the bad stuff, right?
Right.
But they're going on these trips to Jamaica and the Caribbean and having fun, and that's all you see. And you're like, well, how I know what she does. She's a teacher. How does if she can afford it, I can afford it, right? And
Who are
it's
some of the
dangerous.
most wealthy people when they retire?
Teachers.
Teachers. It's crazy to me. I love it. Let's see. Let's go back to Tim here. This is a big one, and I love this right here. My spouse knows all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's handling everything. She's handling everything.
I would urge you to at least, and in this sense, it's okay not to know everything that's going on, but know how to know that stuff. When I say that is, if you're using a financial advisor, we should meet both of them. We should meet you and your spouse at the same time. You should know where to go and how to do things, and at least be a part of the initial setup or an annual review or something like that. We just had a new client join us this last year, and unfortunately, her husband passed away in late December last year.
Yeah.
He handled everything. I think she wanted to be more involved with it, but unfortunately wasn't.
Right.
And then when he passed, it was months of her digging out because he saved every form, every paper, every document that came through, which is great. But it took her months to organize it and figure out what was where and how to organize it. And then she came in to see us, and we helped kind of redevelop that plan.
She literally
to
brought a
maximize.
55-gallon trash bag full of paperwork for us to shred for.
Yeah. And this is like 401ks that were
Right.
30, 40 years old that
Wow.
hadn't had money in them in forever. And he just didn't want to get rid of it because he wanted to make sure he could reference it if he had to.
The crazy
guess
thing
so.
about it is she's fine financially, right?
Yes.
He put a great plan together, and she's fine. We
It
were
was
able
just
to fine-tune
unorganized.
some things. She just didn't know she was fine.
Right.
Right. So she was dealing with the loss of her loved one and also the financial stress of not knowing where her money was coming from or going. That's a bad spot to put your spouse in.
This is kind of making me think of we just got a client up in Knoxville, Tennessee. Bobby, you worked with us on this with this client quite a bit, and his biggest thing, but he handles everything, but she's at every meeting, and she looked right at us. I never will forget this. She goes, "I do not trust anybody but him." It's her exact words. So it took us a couple of times, to love on her a little bit. Because his biggest concern is he goes, guys, I'm most likely going to pass away before she does. I need her taken care of. And so it took us a lot of work and a lot of passion and like I said, love to go, hey, we got your back. We're going to take care of her. I promise you. And you're going to trust us. And I think she does now. But, that's a big deal because you got to be on the same page.
Yeah, with your spouse and really with your financial advisor. A lot of people don't realize that you have to have more than just a numbers relationship with your financial advisor. That's a huge part of us making sure you feel comfortable, making sure you're confident in the plan. And we would like to build relationships with our clients for life.
No, that's right.
Right? And there's a lot
It's
more to
it's,
that than
it's,
numbers.
it's almost a friendship, Bobby. It's almost Tim, I remember you and I, this is probably early last year. I remember us sitting down with someone, and I can't remember if they came from TV, radio, whatever, but they were doing good. They had a great plan. But I remember looking at them and going, so tell me what brings you guys here. And she looked dead in the eyes. She goes, because they do not speak to me. They will not speak to me. She said that the guy was, I'm going to use the word arrogant, and was just like he would only talk to the husband. He gave her no passion, no respect, so to speak. You remember that conversation? I mean, that was hardcore.
Yeah. That's unfortunate at the end of the day, but I think it's important to involve both parties all the way through if you can. I know some people just don't want anything to do with it.
Correct.
Say, my husband will take care of it. Great. Just come meet me. Come see the final plan. That's all I want you to see, and then I'll leave you be. But
Yeah, exactly. Bobby, this is our last one. I kind of like this one because we talk about planning all the time, and a lot of people think a plan is a one-time thing.
Yeah, it's definitely not, right? Yeah, how can you plan for 30-plus years of retirement all in one day? A good plan needs to be fluid. You need to be able to make adjustments because, again, we don't know what the market's going to do in 6 months, let alone 20 years. We don't know what income tax rates are going to be. We don't know what life is going to, push your way, right? Whether that's your health, whether it's you got great health, right, and you're living to 100 years old. That's awesome.
Yep.
Right? You got to make sure that you can make adjustments to your plan along the way, and you should be making adjustments. So if you're a financial planner right now, you're still working off the same plan that they put together for you 5-10 years ago.
Yep.
I won't say run, but that's kind of a red flag, right? Let's make sure
Get a second opinion.
Things haven't been updated because I promise the economy's different than it was 5-10 years ago, and there's a whole lot that changes.
And Tim, we got just a few minutes here, but Bobby just made me think of something else. He said you're in great health and you're living to 100 years old. We are living longer, so there's more opportunity to get sick, and I think people need to plan for that as well.
Yeah. Long-term care skyrocketed the rates for that. It's 7 in 10 people right now are going to need some sort of long-term care help. It's got to be a part of the plan. This is something that if everything else looks perfect, you've got the tax situation figured out, the income figured out. But if you don't plan for this, it could absolutely cripple everything else. And so having a means to pay for that long-term care, whether that's through traditional long-term care insurance, asset-based, self-insurance, whatever the case
Some of our fixed index annuities now have some care,
right.
multi-benefit riders added to them.
We just have to plan for it in some form or fashion.
I think planning is key, and I think that's why our red bucket, our yellow bucket, and our green bucket strategies, it just works. And what I love is to see people's faces. They're like, oh, well, I get that. I understand that. You're not throwing a bunch of pie charts at me and all this other stuff. I understand the system. I think we just make things easier for people, Bobby.
Yeah, that system is a way to take something that can be really complicated, right? The complication and the numbers are important. Let us run those and present them to you using our bucket system. And it's so easy to grasp. And it really takes what can be a complicated situation and make it easy to understand and execute.
Yeah,
better.
I agree. Look, folks, retirement planning, it's not just something you just go do. You have to work with a fiduciary firm that's going to put your best interests at heart. They're going to use systems like our bucket system to show you how to make retirement planning easy. We don't want you to be stressed in retirement. We want you to enjoy every single day in retirement. That's what we're all about here at Guardian Investment Advisors. I'm going to throw a few things at you. Our website, GIAPlantoday.com, GIAPlantoday.com. Go check out our events that are coming up. If you'd like to come to one of them, please do. We'd love to have you. Then I'm going to give you two calculators, GIA Quiz, GIAquiz.com, and PlanTodayTaxBill.com, PlanTodayTaxBill.com. You can do those from the comfort of your home. Then give us a call. Come in and see Tim and Bobby. If you're up in the Knoxville area, come in and see Brogan. Let's make sure we put a plan together for you so you're not confused about facts and myths. That's what it's all about at Guardian Investment Advisors. We appreciate you guys listening in. We'll be back next week.